how can I ensure that I love and treat my stepson equally after having a biological child?
Oh man, are you having a bio kid?
Yes, we're due in early September as of now.
Very cool. Congratulations, man. How long's the journey been?
I say we started IVF really about almost 2.5 years ago, so it's been a process.
So how many years before IVF?
None. I mean, I met my wife about 6 years ago. We got married 3 years ago, and then I guess about 3 years. So I mean, we've been trying for about 3 years, IVF for 2 years, and is finally successful.
Congratulations, man. Tell me about your adopted kid.
He's 10. He is great. I met him when he was 4. And I mean, he's given me, really all I've wanted in life, really, to be quite honest. He's a good dude. I mean, he's a good kid. He's super caring, he's caring, thoughtful, funny. I mean, a 10-year-old, but that's a good kid.
I have a 9-year-old. She's the greatest joy of my life.
Yeah.
Just chaos and fun and maniac. When you listen to this call, I want you to go back and just hear, it's very nuanced, but your discussion about IVF and the way your voice lit up when you started talking about this little boy, he must be pretty special, huh?
Oh, I can't even tell you. I mean, he's
I can hear you smiling through the phone, dude.
Yeah. He's a good dude. I love him.
It's amazing. What have you brought to his life?
I mean, a dad. His biological father was in and out since birth, and then probably the last, I'd say 5.5 years, really, he's been out of the picture completely. So it's been me with him. I mean, and my wife as well, obviously. But I feel like, I've been trying my best to be a father, to be the dad that he deserves, because it's like every kid needs a dad, deserves one, especially him. So I've been trying, to just do good.
Can I salute you for that, brother?
I appreciate you. Thank you.
For real.
Yeah.
I know you fell in love with his mama, but you didn't expect this one, did you?
No, not at all. Growing up, you always want a kid. I always wanted a family. And I kind of resigned myself, if it happens, it happens. And then it happens. So, but yeah, I'm just nervous now that we're having a little girl, which I'm super, super, super excited about. But I'm afraid that since she's my flesh and blood, that I'm not going to treat him the same. And then trying to navigate that whole set of emotions and how to approach everything, I guess.
Well, I'm glad you're being conscientious, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll get into some of the nerd stuff, but I guess for whatever it's worth, my wife and I tried for several years till we finally had our son. And then we tried for a number of years and had a lot of losses and whatnot in between before my daughter came along. I was always nervous about her coming because I could not wrap my head around loving something and someone as much as I loved my son.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of that last pregnancy nervous. And the only way I can describe it, I described it to a buddy like this once. It just felt like another chamber of my heart opened up that I didn't know was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's a strange thing that everything in our life we're told is scarce, right? It's finite. And love doesn't work that way. It just expands in such a wild way, man. I wish I could wrap my fingers around it and package it and sell it because I'd be a trillionaire. It just does. It just does, man. It just opens up. So there is some data that goes both ways. And so whenever that happens, meaning there's no difference between adopted kids and bio kids. And then, yes, sometimes there's a little bit of an unbiased shift towards the nerd, they call it resource allocation, right? Like you might say like, well, no, my kid's going to drive this car. Or my kid's going to put this much in their college fund kind of thing. But when I get conflicting studies like that, I tend to, right, wrong, or different, I tend to kind of just throw them out and look at the dad who's about to have his life double in blessing.
Yeah.
And so I would talk about a couple of things. One, you know this more than anybody listening. Love is a choice you make.
Mm-hmm.
And you've chosen to lean in and love this little boy like his own dad. You've become his dad. Did you adopt him formally?
Not yet. We're in the process. I mean,
Okay.
we actually got the paperwork last week, but
Awesome.
we're in the process of doing it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would begin ASAP referring to your wife's pregnancy as his baby. It's a little hack I learned from one of my mental health professors in grad school. She said, just try this. It was magic in my house. It gave them ownership. So we got to avoid, because you're going to have a big age gap. It avoided the, what about me, and the new kid syndrome, right? Like the superstar syndrome. And it became, oh, it's my kid. I get to help your brother, your sister, your kid. And whatever, the kids are so desperate for ownership in places where they feel powerless. And so, man, that'd be a great gift. I would have honest conversations with your wife about resources.
Yeah.
How much are we going to put in college funds? How much are we going to save for cars, and just be aligned with your finances? And then put some things on the calendar, probably as you already do. I'll continue to do my weekly breakfast with my son. I'm going to continue to coach his soccer team, or whatever things that you do, right?
Yeah.
Those things aren't going to stop. And don't beat yourself up if you hold your daughter and your soul melts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, don't beat yourself up if you hold your daughter and you don't feel anything.
Yeah. I'm scared about that one too. I mean, I've heard, not postpartum depression, obviously, but I mean, I'm also nervous about, having the baby and then being let down, I guess.
Yeah, because she won't give a crap about you. Not even the slightest bit. But you are building her nervous system and her brain every time you hold her.
Mm-hmm.
Every time she feels peace and warmth. Every time her big brother holds her.
Yeah.
And we're going to teach that boy about loving a sister and protecting a sister and the things that big brothers do for their sisters.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue to be a part of the laboratory that he's grown up in the world that he's grown up in.
Yeah.
So I want to honor your fear on this end. I want to tell you on the back end with some limited practices, and you just keep showing up and being you, a guy who loves almost recklessly. Man, you're going to be great. You're going to be a great dad.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate it.
And I wish I'd done this. I would go to the store and buy a little journal and start writing your daughter to be notes. I would also get a journal and write your son notes and begin that practice.
Yeah.
So that when they're both 18, they're going to have years of nerdy little dadisms from Phil and love notes and I'm crazy about you notes and maybe even some fears in there. I think that'd be a pretty magical thing.
I like that idea.
But I think you're on the path, brother.
I got you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. Now, if you get into it and you screw it all up, call me back. Hopefully I'll still be employed here. But I think you're going to be good to go, man.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you for the insight.
You got it, man. I know this isn't for everybody, but having a daughter is one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were able to choose the gender with the embryo and whatnot, and we wanted to just have it be whichever one's more
so crazy. It's like video games now, man.
It really is, yeah. And then and I mean, I didn't tell my wife that I want a boy, I want a girl, but deep down inside, I always wanted to be a girl dad, and I could have. I cried for way too long whenever we got the call that it was that it was successful for one, and now we have a little girl. So, I mean, I'm pumped.
Dude, your kids are going to have a dad who knows how to call his emotions out, man. They won the lottery.
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
No, love deeply and love recklessly. And I think the meta message for both your kids is no matter what, you can always come home.
Yeah.
And I would also give your 10-year-old some grace. I expect him to kind of be all over the place for a while.
Mm-hmm.
as things, you know what I mean? Like as
Yeah.
a new kid interrupts his little safety nest, and as he figures out, he gets old enough to realize, you know, my other dad left, but this guy's amazing, but you're not my dad, and all of that just chaos that comes with adopted teens. I don't know. They also know how to love in a way that is pretty profound and powerful. And so you got on quite the ride, my brother. And I want to honor you. It's amazing that you did that. There's a lot of kids out there that need good dads, and your daughter, man, you can look at both of your kids and say, no, I chose you. Usually you can only do that with adoption, but with the video game world we have now, you get to choose your daughter too. It's amazing, my brother. It's been an honor talking to you, Phil. Blessings to you. Send us a note when she's born healthy, and we'll all shout you out here on the show.